the rite of passage for the late chairman of the defunct National Electoral Commission, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, got closer to home yesterday evening when his body touched down at Takanu Ibiam Airport in Enugu. Meanwhile, within the week, family, friends, and well-wishers of the departed academic converge on Lagos to brief Nigerians about the program of events that will ultimately lead to his final interment on Friday, March the 28th, in his hometown of Ajali in Anambra State. Good morning, Mr. Ugwu. Good to have you join us on the morning show today. Good morning.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, our condolences, of course, once again on the passing of Professor Humphrey, Nwosu. I'd like you to share with us, you were part, and you're still part, of all the planning, the briefing in Lagos before everything will move down to Anambra State on Friday. Tell us about the state of preparation, the significance of what is about to happen on Friday, and if you think that government, I'm saying, either Anambra State or even the federal government are fully involved in celebrating this man that many people believe was part of the contemporary democratic history of Nigeria, given the role that he played during the June 12, 1993 elections.
Thank you, Rise Up News. Thank you, Nigerians. First of all, I'd like to give a commendation to the body and spirit of Professor Humphrey Nwosu, whose remains arrived Nigeria yesterday. I give him salute for safe return to his country and home of the umbilical cord. Humphrey Nwosu died at the age of 83 in America. And then the state of preparations for his final interment commenced this week with the press conference to apprise Nigerians of the virtue of this man that have gone beyond, but who gave his very best to make Nigeria better in terms of electoral management, which wasn't appreciated. We've been able to tell Nigerians that today, as we speak, a national colloquium is being organized in Enugu, specifically in University of Nigeria Enugu campus. His university he taught and became a professor in political science. They are doing that at Enugu today by 10 a.m. exactly. After that, we are going to have a night of tribute in Abuja at the Sheikh Musa Center on the 25th of this month. Then eventually, the whole thing will cascade to Ajali, his hometown in Anambra State, where he will be interred after service. That's just about the burial plans. In terms of whom Humphrey Nwosu is, he is one person that there has been a unanimity of Nigerian acceptance, not paid advertorial, not government-sponsored, that he did the best election in this country. He simplified the process so much that the complexities that people built in fraud and calamity was completely removed. The secret open ballot system of option A4 is yet unrivaled in the history of this country. And Nigerians made the verdict. The only thing that didn't happen was that there was a vicious state complicity to deny him that recognition for reasons probably we are yet to know, but which is coming to be made clear. Just the other day, when a book was launched and a huge money released, there was some measure of atonement, though half-witted and halfway, but it revealed something. It acknowledged that that election was the best and the freest. 32 years by the person that appointed him. and who denied for 32 years that, no, it was inconclusive. No, we have to do this for Nigerians, and all that kind of thing. It does not inspire the conscience of hardworking Nigerians, as me and you are, to do good when it can, just within a slate of authority, be cancelled and erased. And you are oppressed on top of it, to the point where you have to run away from this country and died outside to come back in body bag for just doing service to a country, and we want it to succeed. There has to be some measure of morality, conduct, and transparency. It's the minimum that anybody can aspire to. Even in this organization, why is it's where it is? There's a yardstick, a bar set that must be kept. Where is the bar for Nigerian elections? We began to get worse right from that point, with huge amounts dumped in there. And while people now canvass who will go and really be in charge of the sharing, instead of going to be in charge of getting Nigerians' hope back to the electoral ballot.
Now, speaking of, Professor Humphrey Nwosu's legacy, what would you say were some challenges, that he had to experience post his decision to cement his name as a hero of democracy post the June 12th elections? What would you say some major challenges that he had to endure? You spoke about him having to leave the country as a result of the outcome of that election. So just, briefly speak to us about that.
A post-challenge, even before he was recruited and persuaded to accept that, he's a fulfilled professor in the university with a chair in the Faculty of Social Sciences. Prior to his thing, another distinguished Nigerian, a professor of political science, Professor Yamawa, was there. But briefly, the body language of those operators didn't quite sink in, and they had to find out this man who gave in, even knowing the challenges that were there. The challenge of military dictatorship, the challenge of maximum authority, that you do what we tell you. Forget that you are the National Electoral Commission chairman, you have to do what we are telling you. So you got to play along, a certain doctrine of hegemony of the cabals. But he didn't. When he came, he went on, did this, and had to put a process that will make Nigerians buy in. I don't know if certainly you were not there, you didn't vote. But I know those things must have voted.
Did you?
No, I didn't vote, but I was on the streets. All journalists, I was at The Guardian, all journalists were, on the streets covering that momentous occasion. So
That's interesting.
There was satisfaction. I know if he was not on the stage, he would like to go and vote.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
we had in that ballot the biggest African stardom in philanthropy, M.K. Abiola.
Yeah.
Nobody has rivaled him. And it was his own philanthropy had substance. It's not this kind of play game that people make now, go back and do this, and it was all over the country. And people wanted to show gratitude, to plant gratitude back to that consistent character. I voted. I was happy to go and queue and be identified that I'm in the line of SDP and Abiola. Because you will have the poster there.
Yes.
With this thing. So you will come and secretly verify your name and whatever. Then when you want to vote, you will come boldly and stand in that thing. So if your best friend is for NRC, he will be there and you will be there. So if your line is longer, you will be smiling. And he will be enduring his position. And at the end of the day, it came out fine. Nobody fought. There was no ballot paper to be torn, stuffed, and stolen. And it will be announced there. And that was why the pace of collation was fast. It took the military by surprise. They didn't know it was going to be that fast. They probably had in mind they were going to plan something, to do this, make Nigerians believe, yes, we've given you election, well, yes, we have voted, but like a lion, the thing was very smart and fast, and it was coming. It was where that result was coming, and the pattern was clear that Nigerians have spoken. That we no longer have an excuse to do that. They now try to contrive one ABN, contrive the court, including summoning him to say, look, tell us why you have to go with it when it was just one state remaining. Tell us why you should go ahead and announce it. He said because that election has been done and the results are in our table. That's the mandate we were given to conduct this election the best way. Allow me, when we conduct and announce it, you can take over and do what you have to do. He's not going to be the one to swear in the president. He's not going to be the one to pronounce any other thing outside what the National Electoral Commission was mandated to do.
All right, let me come in with two questions. First will be to ask you what your thoughts are regarding how it should be celebrated. I know that he was given an OFR, Officer of the Federal Republic, at some point. A lot of people feel that given what he did for Nigeria, what he sacrificed, that he deserved more than an OFR. What do you think that he deserves? And I'm not talking just in terms of national honor, but in terms of true celebration, particularly now that this is his final journey on earth. There have been calls about possibly naming the INEC headquarters after him. Do you think that will be fitting, in his memory if the INEC headquarters is named after Professor Humphrey Nwosu? And the other part will be for you to expand more on your thoughts regarding the book by the man who appointed him, former General Ibrahim Babangida. Of course, Professor Humphrey Nwosu's name came up, in that book. And just like you said, the book, My Service, is all about the fact that, okay, I now admit that I made some mistakes, but this is my side of the story. The submissions in IBB's book, particularly on how it affects Professor Humphrey Nwosu, do you think that it rightly captured the heroic intervention that he made, as the man who conducted the election? And what are your thoughts generally, given that MQ Abiola has been celebrated, but people are saying, what about the man that made that election possible?
Thank you again. Yes, we endorse the campaign and the canvas that, first of all, the OFR was, quite too way down. For a man of that level of eminence, who brought a special integrity mark on our electoral management, having been the one that gave legitimacy to what MK Abiola now was, a GCFR, a former president-elect, the person that engineered the protocol and that process deserves something way better. And the coalition of civil societies that would address the press conference, we were agreed on the fact that the president, current president, who is a beneficiary of the political activism sparked off by June 12th annulment based on what Humphrey would, is best placed now to appropriately recognize him, give him an honor of the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger. GCON. Of, fearing that CFR, Commander of the Federal Republic. That will be fitting. It's no longer going to put any asset in the hands of Nwosu, who has gone, to rest. Let's give him a sense of soulful rest in his place of eternity by showing that Nigerians are grateful, and Nigerians are grateful. It is the operators of the state that are not. Nigerians have shown it because nobody have reason to doubt that Humphrey Nwosu organized the best election in this country. Nobody. Nobody denies that Humphrey Nwosu returned a huge catch of money unspent in NEC, unheard of today, where huge money will be voted, and at the halfway they say it's not enough, we have to vary, give us more. He returned more than 500 million. Now, you know what 500 million is today at 1993? Unspent. It was actually part of the huge conspiracy because those who knew how much was put into INEC and who still knew what was remaining were pressuring him. Say, let us sign this off, let us split. And he refused. As part of the anger. Unspoken anger. So that's what we are saying. And then I can't remember the second catch of your question.
Well, I spoke about the proposition for INEC to be named after
yes,
him.
And
then the IBB's book.
Why we are saying that INEC should be named after Professor Nwosu? You name a place after someone who had virtue, who can transport and transplant a sense of candid appreciation that captures everybody. You don't just do it for ceremony. Nobody who has passed through NEC or INEC left virtue in that house much more than Humphrey Nwosu. We want it to be named after him so that people who will come will be forced to read history and know that, yes, there was once a man that passed through here, that sat through here, that conducted the best and fairest election, acknowledged locally and internationally, and left a sack of virtue in that state so that they can sit up. People are offering themselves, just give us that position, we do what you want, only this and that. No, that's not the resume. We should remember a democratic institution as important and as vital as independent National Electoral Commission. He was the one that we could say was really independent.
Yeah.
We haven't seen any other. So in terms of Babangida and his book, very unfortunate. It is good, it's a good atonement that as age caught up with him, and he did not persist in that stubbornness. That, blame it on me, I took responsibility. You can't be taking responsibility for something that was manifestly wrong, and it took you 32 years to say, I'm sorry. And even at that, the language of couching of that, you said, Nigeria expect me to be grateful. Just come out straight and clean. That shows, yes, I am sorry. It has a whole load of therapy.
It does. It absolutely does. And, there's that popular saying, giving people their flowers when they're alive. Unfortunately, in this case, like you rightly said, these are the flowers that should have been given to him.
Yes.
But now, posthumously, what else can be done? You've spoken about, the title that should be attached to his name, renaming INEC after him, for instance. But of course, there's the family. I'm sure he has family, he has children. How do you think they can also, their presence could also play a role in posthumously celebrating him at this time?
Yeah, the state, God bless his son, Engineer Emeka Humphrey Nwosu, who along with his in-law, they are carrying the burden of this thing. We would want the state to be involved. Isn't that just, modest enough that the state gets involved?
Is the Nigerian government involved in the
I think exactly.
It hasn't been shown.
At all?
It hasn't been shown. Of course, you will expect that they will write a letter of condolence.
And put it in the paper.
A letter of condolence. But what will autograph the name of the federal government in this thing is that they move swiftly to grant him a posthumous award. Name INEC after him, probably also a kind of freedom, liberty, the Liberty Park in FCT. A proper road like you have for IBB, you have for other people, should also be named after Humphrey Nwosu. We are not lacking in opportunities to accommodate and honor. Once we get off this mindset that, no, we must not mention Humphrey Nwosu, and we began to wonder, is it because of his name and because of where he came from? Could it have been different if Humphrey Nwosu was someone from another tribe? But we don't want to descend this argument to that level. We're just saying that Nigerians have capacity for appreciation. And when it is done, it is visible and everybody will know this was right. We ask the government to do what is right. And nobody stands the greatest chance to do that except President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So we ask him, please, listen, please. You know this. He say you can't preach to the converted. He went to the trenches, grew his teeth on pro-democracy activism. Today, sitting pretty top at the highest seat of power in this country. He will know what should be done, and we believe he will do that.
All right. On that note, I think we'll have to put an end to it there. Mr. Collins Ugwu, the spokesperson for Aka Ikenga, who's of course very much involved in the final right for Professor Humphrey Nwosu. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here.